So we've had an amazing run of talks, some very interactive talks, some real good crowd being attracted towards. Up next is a similar one. We've got Lenin Alevski, who is a security professional and with over a decade's experience specializing in cloud and application security. He has experience with a lot of technologies. You name the technology and he'll be able to talk to you about it. He's been a former speaker at DEFCON and B-Sides, as well as and multiple other conferences as well. His topic for today is Recon MindMap, organize, visualize, and prioritize your recon data efficiently. Now, whenever you do a recon on a target, you probably end up with a lot of URLs, domains, and IP addresses that you can handle in a limited time. How do you prioritize them? If there is very less time left, how are you going to prioritize them? So he's going to go ahead and introduce his tool over here called as Recon MindMap, abbreviating it to RMM, which is a tool that will simplify the task of organizing and sorting all these assets. RMM is actually capable of a lot of things which he will let us know about. During the talk, Lenin will discuss his motivations behind building this tool and what problem it's going to go ahead and solve. So let's give it up for Lenin.
Thank you. I usually are mean to. Yes, yeah, I can present with that. Cool. Cool. Thank you so much for attending this talk. So we have learned so far a lot about these multiple tools that exist, right, to do our job about recon, things like that. Today I'm going to talk about me trying to learn recon, but also trying to optimize a little bit of the process of specifically how to analyze URLs and a lot of artifacts that you get when you do like a scanning or when you try to organize your domains. And then if I can, I'm going to try to do a demo. If not, you will have to do it on your own on GitHub. So my name is Lenin Alevski. I'm originally from Mexico. I'm currently working as a security engineer for Google, one of the security teams. I'm also an open source contributor, and I collaborate in a couple of villages and nonprofit organizations. I have been working on startups, small companies, big companies, everything in between, and I'm obsessed with cybersecurity. So this is the agenda for today. It's going to be a short talk, demo talk. So I'm going to talk about what was the main problem, the motivation, what I tried to solve. And then I'm going to present a little bit of what's the tool about. It's very simple. You will like it, I believe. I'm going to introduce Recon MindMap. And then we're going to talk a little bit of how it works, the algorithm behind that. And then if the demo gods will allow it, a quick demo. So with that said, the main problem that I have when I started doing recon is probably a lot of you will know. We have multiple teams. We have like Burp Suite that allow us to scan and scrape and get a lot of domains. We have VirusTotal, like you can also pull URLs from there. You can query autonomous systems and it can give you all the domains and subdomains for a particular target. Wayback Machine, Amass. Ultimately, you will throw all of that to a particular target, right? So eventually, the first problem that you will face, or I face at the time, is that you may end with like hundreds or even thousands of URLs and domains and subdomains, and you really don't know where to start, right? Even if you have like a scope, like how do you prioritize all of that? So another problem that you may have is that when you do security professionally, your job just doesn't end at running scans, right? Or doing like the fancy hacker stuff. You have to do a lot of planning, a lot of like reporting. You have to, have meetings with customers, stuff like that. So ultimately, this is the main problem that I face: how to prioritize the URLs that I want to do, and also how to create some fancy diagrams, fancy chart that I can put on a presentations, and then like shareholders or enjoy the data, right? So I was quite frustrated about that for a long time until I attend one of the talks about Jason Hedix from Book Bounty Village, and he showed a very cool methodology that he do, which is he's trying to organize the data in this particular format that is called a mind map. So I talked with him and I told him, yeah, that's a very cool way to visualize data, right? And not only that, because there is a couple of studies that talk about what's the impact of using that particular way of learning, which is structuring your data kind of like in a hierarchical order or grouping them by concepts. And it has real benefits, right? Such as it allows you to enhance memory retention, it allows you to improve comprehension, like you can very quickly like remember and very quickly see what you want to prioritize, right? So with that idea in mind, I start coding like one weekend, and then I end building this small CLI application called Recon MindMap, which is written in Go. You can also run it in a container environment or as a container image, and the concept is pretty simple, right? You give it some input, like unsorted list of URLs, unstructured data. It's gonna do some fancy kind of like graph path traversal, and it's gonna organize everything in a nice hierarchy structure, right? It produces output in JSON format, Markdown, and YAML, so it's compatible with other tools. And just to give you an example, it looks something like this, right? This is what I was talking about. You give the list of URLs that you got from your usual Recon, and then it can produce that list of URL sorted, structured, group in any of the formats that I mentioned already. So then after that, you can use your favorite mind map tool to just copy and paste that output, and the tool will automatically create a nice chart, a nice graph that then you can use to continue your usual penetration testing or recon kind of stuff, or you can also include it in your diagrams, right? So as I say, it's pretty simple, right? Like that's what I focus at the beginning, kind of like make it like stupid simple to use. Like it's just a single binary, less than 1 megabyte. And I think when I kind of present this tool the first time on Twitter, like it got very well accepted. I haven't got like much contribution yet, so I'm hoping also that people contribute. But now let's talk about how it works, right? This is gonna be like not too technical. I don't want to go into the details, but like a quick story that every time I need to relearn like algorithm or lead code stuff is whenever I'm interviewing, because that's what they ask you for the interviews. And when I'm trying to solve this problem, I finally found a good use case for this, right? So what the tool really do is takes a list of domains, as I was saying, with domains, subdomains, and so on. It's gonna split it by top-level domain, subdomain, like all the tokens. It's gonna iterate all over them, and it's gonna be created with a combination of hash maps and path traversal, BFS path traversal, graph traversal. It's gonna create this structure of nested domain, subdomain, right? So in this example, it's gonna iterate from the top-level domain, the domain, and all the subdomains, and it's creating that structure. So same thing, like you can see like how it starts populating the different levels until finally it completes the whole iteration, the whole processing of all the domains. And then you end with this structure that is quite generic. I wanted to build quite generic, so I can export it to any different format, right? As I was saying, JSON, Markdown, YAML, or any other format that then will be compatible with software that creates mind maps, such as Xmind or Obsidian, or really any other software that can render this information, right? So now here is the part of the demo. Let me see if this thing works. No, I think my computer is work, but I'm gonna show the browser.
Wait a minute, I'll get
Yeah. I don't wanna test anything sensitive. Yeah, I just wanna show GitHub, github.com /
Sure.
so people can just go there.
You might be able to use his adapter.
Which one?
We've got a C port window and his adapter C. You might just be able to stick his adapter
Instead
instead.
of that,
You tried out?
I can try that.
Have you
Yeah,
tried
let me see.
Let's see. Yeah.
Yeah, you know.
No problem. I'll just open up a browsing for you.
Yeah, I'm gonna show you what I have on GitHub, and I have a couple of cool screenshots there.
Connect the Type C. You'll have to connect the Type C. Connect the Type C. You good?
Take the Wi-Fi over.
So yeah, the project is publicly on GitHub. You can go right now, github.com / my handle alep.com / RRM from Recon MindMap. And as I was saying, like, if you want, you can run it directly from a Docker container. So the instructions are here. Like you can see there, and I have an example there, or for example, you can pull up a list of Microsoft domains and subdomains that are publicly available. You can pass them directly to the tool. You can pass it directly to the tool, like using a standard input, and then that output you can use copy and paste and use software like Xmind that will automatically format everything in that graph, right? Before that, I used to do that.
What Wi-Fi have you connected?
I'm connected to a public one, like DEFCON.
No. This is not connected.
So like
Yeah. Continue, please.
Okay. So, yeah, like this is the problem that this tool solves, right? That's what I was talking about. Like before doing that, I will have to go and manually copying and pasting the domains and doing this analysis of which subdomains belong to which domain and all of that. So the tool, once you download it and once run it, like you just feed the list of domains and subdomains, and it will automatically do all this for this, right? So the tool also supports, as I was mentioning, like multiple output, like JSON format, YAML, like Markdown, like you name it. So it's the capacity to expand, and there is a couple of, like future improvements that I wanna. There is a couple of future improvements that I wanna work in. Probably before DEFCON ends, I'm gonna be able to put a web API, so you don't have to run it directly on your CLI. You can just start a web server and then do a curl request or HTTP request, and it's gonna return all the content for you. I want to add a couple of domain regular expressions and filters, so you can filter that graph and only get what you want. Currently, you kind of can do that using JQ, which is a CLI tool. So if you decide to output your content in JSON, you can then use JQ to kind of filter that. I wanna do automation integration with a couple of other tools, such as right now, let's say I generate all of these mind map, and then I start running like Nmap or additional scanners. And that process is still manual, so I go and copy the output for that into my mind map and present it on the report. but I think I can automate that work as well, right? So that will be a good thing to have. And also, yeah, like support more input and output formats also will be a really cool thing. And finally, adding webhooks and continuous monitoring, so you get alerting whenever you see a specific domain, because ultimately I want this to be kind of like an intelligence tool, right? Like it's continuous monitoring a stream of URLs, and then it's actuating on a particular alert that you configure or filtering, right? So, yeah. So today we kind of talk about a little bit of what was the problem of dealing with this huge amount of information, or specifically to do kind of like strategic work or prioritizing your data or visualizing, and also how to do that reporting. So now you know there is an additional option, which is this small tool. We also talk about like how it works internally, how you can run it via like CLI commands, or how you can run it on Docker. I tried to do a demo that didn't work, but if you catch me outside, I can show you directly on my machine, or I can help you to download it and run it. And with that, I think this is the end of the presentation, and I'm open for questions in case you want to talk more about it. Any question or? Oh, yes. So let me repeat the question if I correctly found. So after generating this graph, like what's the process to? Okay, so that will depend on the type of work or that I'm doing. Like for example, if I'm doing something like a pen testing on, they give me a particular scope that is a subdomain, then it's very easy to see like all the domains that concentrate on a particular subdomain that is of interest, for example, right? In that example, in the repository, there is one subdomain from Microsoft that is under research. And if you go and see everything that is under research, then you can start thinking or have an idea of what are those domains, what the type of information those domains are hosting for, right? Another example that I have there is, for example, it supports giving a list of IP addresses. So the IP addresses, it will automatically calculate the CIDRs and group them, all of that. So you can do, for example, some network scanning or network mapping, and then put all the output of those tools there, and then you can just include that in your final report, right? So I will say I create this as a tool to help me fix a particular problem that was very painful at the time. That I want to sort these domains or these strings, and then after that. It depends on what I'm doing, right? Like my hobby is to automate the next steps, and as the image say, like making a little bit more progress. Question there?
Do you think you can edit transforms like with Maltego to do additional tasks?
Yeah. So one of my hopes is right now the process is like I get some input, I transform that into like a generic graph, and then I have some functions to print, right, on different formats. So I could add like an interface that is Maltego, and Maltego, the Maltego interface in Go is gonna basically define like how to print that in Maltego format, right? So that's the idea. I kind of create a tool to be extended, so people can contribute and they can add additional inputs and output formats. Yeah. Any other question? If not, I think we're good.
Thank you.
Thank you.